Welcome, everybody, to tunnel meeting number 99. Closing in on 100. Fucking awesome. It's May 28th, 2024. And as you can see on screen, overview of today's agenda. We'll start off with a couple of mentions. And then the bulk of the meeting will be reserved for the monthly workgroup updates. If there's any room left after that, there can be open topics, but we'll see how far we get. I will start off with a quick reminder on what the Ambassador Program even is and what we even do. We're a bunch of people all aligned with the SingularityNet mission and vision, wanting to contribute to it. And we do this in a wide variety of work groups, self-organizing work groups. And somewhere in the waiting room. Yeah, basically, if you're interested in helping out, there's a broad range of topics where you can. Just hop onto the Discord server. There's a Getting Started channel, and that channel will get you started. Then 2 mentions for today. First one being on defunding round 4. It's underway. There were more than 200 proposals, so that's just, yeah, proper heartwarming to see. A whole bunch of engagement. The first Spotlight Day took place yesterday morning, and there will be 2 more Spotlight Days. Specifically at Wednesday and Thursday, 18 UTC. And basically these spotlight sessions, they are like a quick 3-minute, I believe, pitch on all the proposals. So they will get you up to speed in no time. There's a lot of projects to get up to speed on though. And then before heading over to the work groups, I would like to give Nefertiti a little bit of a spotlight here on Beyond the Code. Let me quickly check. I think you should have co-host if you want to share screen.
Okay. Hi everybody. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to share. Are you talking to me to share the screen?
Yep, I'll stop sharing and then you should be good to go.
Okay. Cool. All right, 1 second. I should be able to go to more and share the screen. Where would I go?
Yeah, there's either a green share screen button.
I don't have an option to I don't have an option to share the screen. I have polls, chats, record, start summary, AI.
I think it's not under under the more button, but on the bar in the middle, more or less, next to reactions.
Okay, record, start. Participants.
If the screen is smaller, then the shared screen is usually after chat. If it's not after chat settings, then could be that your device, if you're using Mac, doesn't allow sharing screen.
I'm on a Mac. Yep.
Yeah,
it doesn't allow if you're on a Mac. Is that what you said?
It requires different permissions, but they don't come from Zoom.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I could just talk if that's okay. I mean, I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. You can always view this on the deep funding under Beyond the Code. You can also go to Beyondthecode.ai. That's all lowercase .ai. And there's a website, there's a link tree. It'll also take you to more information, but I can also just start to tell you guys a little bit about the project, if that's okay. Only because I don't have a place where I can share the screen.
Oh, well, there we go. Tavo is sharing the website.
Yep. There's also a link to the trailer. The trailer will change, but also, yeah. And then also just to read more about the project, you can go to Deep Funding. There's a pitch there. And that can also just tell you. So if you'd like, I can just read. Is that okay? Yeah.
Do you want me to share screen of a specific pitch?
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to share a specific screen?
If you go to, actually, if you just go, I think the best place for you to read along with me is Deep Funding, because then that has a very clear link. The website, all of the digital side of what we're doing is literally being activated every day, and it's being updated every day. So all the UI, UX is happening as we speak. My team is diverse. We're in Berlin, Munich, Singapore, and now a portion of us are actually here in Texas. So I'll just get started. So basically, Beyond the Code is a decentralized docu-series, and the project is basically integrating these decentralized AI with SingularityNet. Myself and Dr. Ben Gertzel, who is my business partner and partner in this, we're actually featuring Ben and the SingularityNet ecosystem. The approach is to educate and expand the community as we introduce a new revenue stream through the DeFi mechanism of film. So we are looking to offer through the non-fungible token launch that we're doing at Consensus on May 31st, ownership and royalties that we're going to offer certain level of NFT community investors. Eventually, we'll also build a marketplace. As we all know in this program, SingularityNet Fetch and Oceans are combining forces, and that combined force will help us to create artificial super intelligence. And so essentially, this docu-series that we've created in its initial phases was created to highlight SingularityNet's ecosystem. And in doing so, we have traveled through to film the Beneficial General Intelligence Conference in Panama. I've traveled to Ethiopia to highlight ICOG, to highlight Mindplex, to highlight Betty's work in Icon Code. We've worked with people at Rejuve, Rejuve Biotech, as well as Rejuve, the other company, Rejuve, that collects health data. We've delved into working with Logan over at Sophiaverse to understand their ecosystem, also the sentient wallets that they're launching. So essentially, the docuseries is to put an eye on artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and now we are moving into artificial super intelligence. So as an individual producer and director, I work with SingularityNet on the music side as a strategic initiatives officer. And in becoming that and in that role, I was able to see that the media side of SingularityNet needed, to me, in my opinion, a boost. So I sat with Ben and said, let's highlight your work since 2017. Let's go backwards and look at what you're doing to bring artificial general intelligence to the world. And in understanding that that's not a very easy task, because most people, one, don't understand artificial intelligence. They don't really understand who's making it, how it's being made, how they can be a part of it, how they can find information about it. So that's what this docuseries should be able to serve the purpose of. It should be able to inform people how they can participate, who's actually bringing the artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence to them, and what that actually means. So in looking at the SNet platform, because it's such a diverse platform, again, from medical, from Rejuve, to coding, to having music applications, and all of the different things that Ben himself as a scientist and all of the other scientists that are working along with SingularityNet are looking to create. I thought there would be a great place to have a spotlight on those creations. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with like TMZ or any of those series that come along. They tell you about things that are happening daily, but at the same time, they tend to end, right? So after you have a docu-series like this, you see 3 to 5 episodes, if you're lucky, 12, and then it's over. Our vision is to create a way to not only spotlight what SingularityNet is doing, but also now to branch into what artificial superintelligence would be doing. So a collective collection of media brought into one location, like let's say, for example, SingularityNet's socials or their YouTube channel, and bringing all of that information into one location, the public has a consistent way to learn about SingularityNet and now its new partnerships. The docuseries itself starts out by focusing on how large language models are being built, how music is being informed with these large language models, how you have projects like Jam Galaxy breaking out, creating low latency models that allow the robot to be trained and to be deployed in records like Ben is making with Desdemona's Dream, furthering itself into talks about let's say Hanson Robotics, what he's done with Sophia, spawning into Sophiaverse. So as you can see, there's a web of artificial intelligence, right? So what the docuseries does for the community is it allows the community to have involvement, it allows the community to have say, it allows the community to have a reward system. So as this SingularityNet partnership evolves, right now this is Chaos Factory, which is Ben's private company, and XR Agency, which is my private company, which have come together to fund us this far. In doing the NFT whitelist launch, the NFT launch at Consensus, the purpose for that was to announce the documentary series to the community at large. We are planning to work with the Cardano blockchain, the Hypercycle blockchain, which is a ledgerless blockchain, as you all know. The reason why we chose Ethereum is because it's adaptable to Cardano and to Hypercycle. We're probably going to start on Polygon because it's very easy. It's very inexpensive for gas fees. And that's how we're launching. We're looking to raise 2.4. The 2.4 is explained clearly in our NFT white paper, which we'll deploy and give to the community that are participating on May 31st, whether they're going to be in person or in the metaverse platform. So essentially what this docuseries does is it highlights the efforts of SingularityNet. It will highlight the efforts of SingularityNet as it moves into its merger. It'll give the community, the core community, a chance to decide what they want to see, how they want to see it, where they want to see it, in a 24-hour news cycle style. So that's a little bit of a lot, but I'm actually here in Texas right now producing this event that you will be able to see on the YouTube channel. You will also be able to participate in the metaverse platform. And this is the way that we want to deploy the docuseries from here on out. Eventually, you'll be able to adapt products like the Hypercycle ring, like any of the other digital assets that are being built on the SNet platform right now, over into our basic marketplace. The basic marketplace is Beneficial Artificial Superintelligence X, and we are starting to build it now. So that's kind of a wide array of different things, but just to give you an idea, the docuseries itself as a media piece should eventually exploit these avenues, having its own marketplace, having a token that's on Ethereum. The ERC 1155 is a token that we're choosing to go with because it's a non-fungible and fungible token, and it allows us to continue to build the media. The NFTs start at 100 and they end at 1,000. We're allowing people at the $1,000 range to become producers, where they will receive a royalty stream. I don't know if you have any questions, but this was pretty fast. So yeah, you can just go up to our website, which will change over the next couple of days. You'll have an NFT white paper that you can have. You'll have a Bible that'll explain more in depth of the actual docuseries. And then I'm also in the SNet ecosystem. So if any of you are on Mattermost, you can ask me questions. If you're going up on deep funding, you can ask questions to me there as well. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Great stuff. I also linked to it's the Pixel Canvas one, right? The metaverse where the launch will also be live. Just for the record, that's coming Friday, 22 UTC.
Friday, May 31st. Yep, actually, it's going to be yep, that's right. We're in Texas, so it'll be 6 p.m. this time, which is actually not that late. If you're going to go to a concert and see Macy Gray DJ and have Tribe Called Quest recently inducted into Hard Rock Hall of Fame, hanging out with Desdemona the Robot, Ben, we're going to do a fireside chat. That fireside chat will be hosted by Patrick, the CEO of Gem Galaxy. It'll be with Danny Newcomb, who's the CEO of Incantio. All of these guys are using the SingularityNet, artificial intelligence. That's what they're building upon, right? The same thing we're doing with Beyond the Code. You'll have a chance to talk to these people about the state of AI music. You'll also have a chance to see the performance, and you'll also have a chance to hear more about this docu-series as we are launching on the Ethereum consensus, right? So the whole point of this is to give our community first dibs, to give our community the access first, because once we make this merger happen, which we all are waiting for, it's going to be a lot of different people in the community. My intention is to make sure this SingularityNet community has the first opportunity to speak, have a voice, and have options on what it is that they want to see, how they want to see it, and what they want to see, and also to earn. Because a lot of people make these promises that they can earn something. I've been made that promise myself to the tunes of thousands. It never happened. So my intention as a person who's an artist who built an agency, who's a person who's building this, who is investing my own dollars along with Ben. We have not taken money from SNET on the docuseries yet. SNET has partnered with us to cover all of what you're seeing in the documentary series because it's about them. So the point is to highlight the work that Ben is doing and all of his partners are doing, and to continue to do that throughout everything we're doing, including this event.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. We can a quick check in the room. Any questions for now? We'll take that as a good sign. Everything was super clear in that case.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you guys very much for the time. I really appreciate it. Peter, awesome, man. Thank you so much. And I greatly appreciate the support. And I hope to see all of you guys on the Metaverse platform or live. We have a bus going up. If you're here at Consensus, DM me personally. I'll make sure that the community gets taken care of. Get the seats on the bus. They're going to get up, get some food, some drink, hang out, and and start to become our KOLs for this project. Thank you very much, guys.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm just going to hang out and listen to the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Let me hop back to screen sharing in that case. That does bring us to the book of the call, being the workgroup updates. And starting off, as per usual, if you are here to cover multiple work groups, feel free to do it. Yeah, as you see fit. You can do them all at once. I'll try and keep track so that we don't skip on any. Yeah, well, as you can see on top of the list, there would be knowledge-based work group. Tefo, what is good?
Finishing up a question for the previous speaker, but I will finish that later. So knowledge-based work group. So here, I think last month we also was like going into this organizing these action items, or like these document items we have every ambassador, work group, and guild is producing. However, the models we designed for asynchronous stuff wasn't really still at that acceptance level when we started reviewing them. So we now have increased our the reviewer amount we do for the items, and we also have another a two-tiered system for reviewing item locations. The results of these are now done, but we haven't had the knowledge-based work group, which is tomorrow, to check on the latest changes. And then, in the end, basically, I feel like this month we'll focus on this organizing stuff, getting more and more these items on that map of how they are fitting in the ambassador system design. That's with knowledge base. Another on the list is Dework PBL work group. There we are now running and basically we have cohort of people who are students who are going through Dework PBL, and we are now making a series of the way we are going it. So on the YouTube, you can see part 2, where we started with the background knowledge lessons, and every session we will continue to, at half of the session, we will do the onboard, like the course material itself, and another half we manage and strategize what we do with Dework PBL once it's completed. We might change the focus, we might start something else and new updates. So these everything are happening while we're doing the course itself. And the last one in this page, Treasury Guild, the time has changed. So the next meeting is not this week, but on Mondays. And I think you have on the screen the new time. Plus Tuesday. I'm not sure what is Tuesday then you to see. but yeah, Monday mornings 10 UTC is Treasury Guild. Now this is actually policy workgroup is 10 UTC and 11:30 is Treasury Guild, if I'm right from my top of my head. And yeah, this is slowly going to change the facilitation. So I hope some people will hop in and it gets more distributed. I think our topics, well, for now, as you can see, we have been getting most of the proposals and work groups passed their proposals. And now the next step would be to look at Q2, the quarterly reports and templates and how to complete them. And I already would suggest the other work groups and will start preparing their Q3 proposals. And maybe do it together with Q2 reports because the time is coming us very fast. And for the policy work group, that's going to also start 1 hour and 30 minutes before the Treasury Guild session. We're going to have a first pilot session where basically introducing to the activities and deliverables we are going to produce, and then I share a insight of a strategy I would take on, but everybody who are in the call will be helping to input and maybe distribute more tasks and distribute the capacity of preparing treasury rules for ambassador program. I guess that's it from the workshops from my side.
Awesome, thanks a lot. I'm looking forward to see how these how the Treasury policy workgroup, how that will work out. Cool. Then moving on to the next one would be Archival. And let's see, we have Vanessa in the room.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so we're kind of at that stage in the quarter, which I'm sure everybody else is too, where we're wrapping up what we started and thinking about what comes next. So work is still ongoing on the LLM development stuff that I mentioned in our last update, but now we've got it to the stage where we're able to split up the interconnected, interlinked work a little bit more clearly. So there's been some really interesting progress on working with Google APIs to fix and to open source an archival copy of any documents that are submitted by the meeting summary tool, because there is a section in it for people to add their working docs, and how we make sure that any comments in a doc are they stay connected to the bit of the doc that they are comments about. It's funny because in the traditional archives world, this is always a key concern when it comes to preservation. We call it dissociation, the risk of an archival object getting dissociated from its context. So it's super interesting that even in our Web3 digital space, the same basic issue is kind of fundamental. We've also had some really interesting progress with the RAG retrieval process work that I mentioned last month. This is basically about constraining an LLM so that it uses specific sources to answer questions. So for the archives, that's obviously going to be the Archives Git book itself with everyone's summaries in it, plus all the linked documents that we're working on how to open source and how to sort of connect. And yeah, so constraining an LLM to only look at those sources is going to mean that answers to queries about the ambassador program are going to be more accurate and more transparent, because users will therefore know where an answer actually comes from. And that transparency is an ethical issue too. One other interesting thing that Archives is looking at the moment is developing an AI ethics strategy for the archives, just to outline in what ways we think we should and shouldn't use AI archivally. Now, obviously, it needs a lot of discussion, and we're going to be talking about it in our next meeting tomorrow. And obviously, eventually, we're going to be sharing it in the wider community when it's a bit further along. Although I've got to emphasize it's meant as an internal document for how the archives uses AI. We're not trying to create something for the whole ambassador program or anything like that. Although we kind of hope it might inspire other work groups to think about in what ways they want to use AI and what ethical issues are raised by the type of work they do. Parallel to that, we're also trying to write up some strategy on our approach to open source. It's been noted that we do have a particular approach to this, as exemplified by our GitHub board and some of the other things we do. And I just want to give hats off to Guillermo, who's been incredibly supportive on this and inspired us to do some work on trying to share our approach to it. So before the end of the quarter, we'll have a presentation, which we're planning to probably do in a town hall space like this, to share some stuff about our open source strategy. And finally, we've been doing a bit of work in a project to highlight good meeting summaries and reward them. So a small group has been meeting to define what good means. I mean, more specifically, it's like what good things are not yet being done across the board in everyone's meeting summaries. What could people maybe improve on or stuff? And they've selected a top summary from the last couple of weeks, which will be announced at our workgroup meeting tomorrow. And the documenter who made that summary, I don't know who it is yet, I'm waiting to find out, will win a prize. Quite a chunky prize, actually. I think we said $50. And then we'll be doing the same right through June. So watch out for the announcement of the winner and why they won and any recommendations that the group has for like why they won. Obviously people don't have to follow them, but one recommendation that I'm aware of is the idea of putting a header on any Google Doc that you create, which states who created it, for which work group did they create it, and on what date. It just really helps people keep track if you have that in a header. So if you want to know more about us, remember you can always view our GitHub project board, which I'll put a link to in the chat in a moment, which is how we manage our meetings and our work, and come to our next meeting. Now it says there 1300 UTC, but I think it's 1300 my time, so I think it's 1200 UTC tomorrow, and fortnightly on Wednesdays afterwards. And the link is in the calendar, but I'll also put it in the chat. And that's all from us.
Thanks, Don. You're spot on. It's 12 UTC indeed. I took the one from a month ago. Maybe that was just right after the time change.
Yeah, that'll be it. Oh, I'll just say also, both Lilu and I have got a little update on the ethics work group, but I won't take that now. I'll take it when you get to it.
It's at the very bottom of the list, just because it's on the weekly schedule. It's right before town hall. So
Cool.
but okay. Thanks a lot. Then Dework PBL got covered. There's education. Anybody in the house representing Education Guild?
I guess I can speak to it if Slate isn't here. So yeah, we've become very active with like a dozen people showing up for our weekly calls. There is one tomorrow, so everyone is welcome. And we're continuing to build the body of information about all the spin-offs. So we even have on our plate developing accessible information about Fetch and about Ocean. So all things that happen within and across the ecosystem, we want to educate our ambassadors and core members and just interested parties around. So there are videos and infographics and now quizzes being developed. They'll end up in a structured program towards some sort of, whatever certificate. And now we're looking at doing more kind of like learn with AI and learn about AI. So, education is an important topic, and I think we're kind of like finally really gained our stride, have a lot of enthusiasm and good attendance. So I invite people to drop by, even if you are not sure, or even if it's peripheral to what you do, but just learn about or tell us what else we should be doing.
That's done. Then we move to R&D Guild. And well, we have multiple people in the room. Not sure who's going to step up. I see Guillermo unmuting.
Yeah, hi everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna go for R&D and then the exciting news of launching the LATAM Ambassadors Guild that we're starting today. Whoop, whoop. The African Guild, led by Duke, did last Friday. It was really inspiring to be there. But let's go step by step. So R&D. This quarter have been all about operations, transparency, and getting ready to answer the concerns presented on the Q2 budget proposal that is filling up repos. I've been a crazy month with the deep funding and all the things around, but still we are committed to timelines on development. So with the help of Kisi, Lord Kisi, that it's not here today, he DM'd me, they have a crazy day. We have been working hard in operation to help the teams developing to be able to transcend from blueprint to artifacts, working artifacts. We're gonna have a communication spread around the channels, answering this concern presented on last quarter. And we're gonna have some prototypes already, I think, working by the end of this quarter. So hope we can fill the expectations. And the other thing that it was in this last couple of weeks about the Q2 budget and new proposal that got mixed with the updates on the allocated funded amount. We finally, last week, we find an internal agreement to push and allocate some budget to give Dukes the elements, the resources to start working at the beginning of this last month of the quarter. So we will divide that and find a resolution internally to keep the people that bring a new proposal inspired to do it and to keep working for bringing new ideas for the community. So that's that in regards of the R&D. Tomorrow we have our weekly meeting and we're gonna present to the team all the new updates on the GitHub, all the reports and hopefully, next week we're gonna have an update for the community in that regard. Then, as I mentioned before, and it's good to see Nicola, a member of Nicola, I expect for you to be tonight town hall. So it's good to see the LATAM community being part of the Global Ambassadors meeting. So we are starting today. We're gonna roadmap operations. We have started at the beginning of this month with the LATAM Ambassadors Guild objectives. We start communicating. We start working on educational material. And we're gonna, today is gonna be a kickoff. And we're gonna start with a call to action to evaluate the 5 new members of the guild. We're looking forward to cover the 4 countries of the LATAM region: Argentina, Colombia, Mexico, and Brazil. We already have a member from the Brazilian community that is helping with the LATAM expansion. So it's exciting, full of excitement, and also challenging and a lot of responsibility to bring the SNet vision and mission into the region properly. We already have worked a strong, I think with a lot of responsibility, bringing the LATAM community into shape. So we're gonna work on that, on those foundations. Hopefully we can kick off this. The first steps on the roadmap are gonna be building the work groups or sub-work groups for education, marketing, and onboarding. and then have our first governance experience by voting the name of the token for the guild. We have a couple of names that we don't want to push them, so we're going to have a governance experience, and that way we'll build our ways to deal with the decisions internally. What else? And yeah, translating material. That have been my last week, translating global ethics documentation, the last version of the blueprint. So that will help to give some material to new members to understand what we're doing here. Yeah, that's it on my side. Hopefully we can have a bunch of you in today's kickoff. It's going to be 22 hours UTC, so hope to see you guys there. I'm going to speak in Spanish, but we can have some closed captions, okay? So looking forward for that. Thank you, Pete.
Well, thank you. You're quite right. With closed captions, it might actually be doable. I haven't tried, to be honest. And I was like, oh, shit, yeah, that's going to be hard. But it might actually, I'm not sure how well it works.
Maybe we can try out. We can turn in that right now, and then is it Spanish? And then Guillermo says invites us to the Spanish.
Yeah, and so sorry, I'm going to go back up 1 second. So thank you, Vani, because we have been working on Archival. How we going to bring to the LATAM Ambassadors Guild all the good tricks from the global ambassador, and Archival is going to helping us with to build a template in Spanish for the Oracle, and that will be translated in English, so we can update the community in both languages. So we're going to keep you guys updated with the weekly summaries in English and Spanish. So we can show the strong potential and power of the ambassadors, and we are reaching different languages. So that's going to be pretty cool. So thank you, Vani, Andrea, and Stephen, and all the Archival work team. Okay, thanks.
Say something in Spanish now, so that we know it's working.
Yeah, so
gracias,
Tibo. Gracias. Cerveza, tacos, empanadas, asado y fútbol. Messi campeón del mundo. Los esperamos esta noche, 22 horas UTC. Okay, LATAM Ambassadors Kickoff.
Well, did it work, Tefo?
No, it didn't. It only captures English language.
Yeah, the good thing is you're going to use Google Meet, okay? So that probably works better.
It should work on Google Meet, because I've joined the meetings and had it translate from Spanish to English. So I think it should be fine there.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, we're looking forward to see you guys there, okay? Thank you.
And again, thank you. Let's see, that brings us to the next slide. Starting off with onboarding work group. Quick check on the participant list. Anybody stepping up for
Hi guys.
an update? Hogan.
Yeah, I'll be stepping up for you on board. Yeah, how you doing, Peter?
Oh, good.
All right. For the month of May, we've had a good number of attendants in which is quite impressive. And also we actually held a treasury session on the 18th of this month. So I think Clement will be sending the link to the chat for everyone to see and access it. So the link is basically for information to navigate the treasury in terms of setting up your wallets and making sure it's all being done with the process by yourself. Also, we currently carried out surveys. We're currently carrying out surveys. There's a survey link too, which will be sent to the chat as well. That survey is for the experience of new members into the program. So the survey form shows people preferences and how they want our meetings to be on the onboarding work group. So it is very important for us to also shape and improve in our way we onboard as well. So basically, that's just not much. And then we also are expecting you guys to join on Thursdays. Yeah, the team to see as well. So we're here to onboard new members as well. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. And also noting the conversation in chat, we should add the LATAM call to the calendar. But let's do that after the call. Sorry, after this call, not after. Yeah, right. Then next on the list is the Marketing Guild. Let me quickly check. Well, as you maybe noticed last week, there was a big discussion on Marketing Guild's lead, the function, and how to go about that. I was not part of that. Still have to watch the full recording, I have to admit. Was not quite feeling well, and that only improved yesterday, so I didn't find the time yet. But from what I gathered, there's quite a bit of discussion to be had there. Judith put in the Marketing Guild channel on Discord an outline of, well, a summary, let's say, of the discussion previous week. And yeah, basically, there were 3 processes for selecting a new lead. Being proposal-based, an alternative was an resume plus cover letter submission. And the third one was a Google form with questions. And some additional questions to consider on, well, should we have 1 lead? Should we have multiple leads? Should we establish a set of rules for guild leadership transfers in general before we start this process of electing a new leader, selecting a new leader? These questions are still standing. I think these questions is best to discuss in the Marketing Guild channel. Alternatively, let me check. So this week on Friday, we don't have a session. In a way, I think we could, just to properly discuss this process and how to go about it. Yeah, but to be completely honest, as I mentioned, I didn't rewatch the town hall of last week yet. So if I don't want to make a meeting that's just going to be a repeat of the same that was discussed, of course. But I do feel it would be useful to have a session, perhaps Friday. Yeah, let's say 13 UTC-ish, like where the original slot was as well, or 12 UTC I see here. Any thoughts in the room on that? Is that like a somewhat decent approach, or is it rubbish, or should we just stick to the Discord channel, or?
Sounds like a good plan to have a meeting.
All right. I was going to ask like if there's any strong objections, but then yeah, you just don't attend, right? Okay, so I guess I'll put it at 12, just so that it's there. Cool. And I think that kind of covers for now. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah, I think that covers for now. Then moving on to the writers work group. Let's see, is Kenichi in the house? I do not see him. Does anybody want to stand up and yeah, Guillermo, go for it.
I
No, no,
do see
Kenichi. I see Kenichi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, the floor is yours.
All right. So the update from the Writers Work Group is pretty straightforward. So far we've published we published 8 articles so far. And so basically, we have 2 articles left to publish this month. We have a lot of content that has basically been reviewed. So that means we have like content just waiting to be edited and published. On our trivia side of things, we had an increase in engagement this month after we changed the structure of our trivia. So as opposed to the past months where our trivia were literally all based on articles written by SingularityNet ambassador program and the SingularityNet blog page itself. So now we've incorporated a style of having breaks, bi-weekly breaks in between them to account for community suggestions and entertainment, basically. So the community gets to vote a week before on the kind of content they want. Basically, I think the first iteration of this, we did, I think it was movies. And after that, we did football, basically. So and then there's been an increase in the level of engagement. Apparently, since people actually voted for what they wanted to do. Also, on the Zilly side of things, from last month, we had a few complaints on the Zilly side with sprints, interconnected sprints, basically. So what that means is just that some tasks were reflecting on the last sprint as opposed to the current sprint based off some people that participated in both sprints. And so for people that didn't participate in the initial sprint, they got extra points. So now we've shifted to a module that focuses strictly on the sprint it's concerned with. So right now we're working with the May module. And also we've had new specials added to our Zilly quest. So Zilly sprinters can check that out. The sprint is closing officially in, hold on. The sprint is closing officially in 13 days. We still have a couple of tasks we'll be adding. Also, we currently have 2 interested parties taking our tests at the moment, trying to become scribblers. Another update on that is that following some recent discussions in the work group, we've decided that we'll be working on structuring in the pupil role. So currently we have the scribe and the scribbler role where the scribe takes on extra responsibilities in the work group and, with management and a few other overview responsibilities and accountabilities, basically. But now, and the scribblers strictly focus on writing articles for seamless productivity there. But now we're going to be adding the pupil role, which allows people that have joined our meetings access to at least see the Writer Work Group channel and stay up to date with the updates and the information happening within the channel. So, and also there's been discussions about having another channel for the scribes, basically, but we're still ideating on that, discussing it further on a call this Friday. So yeah, once the role document is fully finalized and all, we'll be giving that out. I'll be explaining a way for contributors or interested parties to get the tag. There will be threshold requirements for holding each of the roles, and people will be naturally shifting within these thresholds, basically depending on the level of engagement and a few other key things we'll be measuring and taking note of. So yeah, from currently the last thing that we're working on right now is that with the recent budget approval, we are trying to get up to speed with the pages, the Twitter pages we mentioned in our Q2 deliverables. So we are setting them up right now. They're not completely done yet. I've opened the one for Pidgin, for Spanish, and currently working on the French page for Twitter. So once those pages are set up, we'll figure out, probably on the call this Friday, we'll figure out people that will be assigned to them, probably from the translator work group, or we'll also be reaching out to LATAM and African Guild if they have a representative that could, take control and manage the page. Basically, we are currently working on a spreadsheet to align all the pages. So the content will be made from our Scribblers work group, and we'll be translating that and directly posting it on the social media pages. Another last item is that we are currently working on a Notion board, basically, for our progress on all our projects to be able to navigate through all the items that we are discussing and to track our KPIs and projects basically seamlessly, where everyone in the work group, at least the scribes, will have access to such backdoor information, and the scribblers will be able to track, update, and publications and a few other items in the workgroup seamlessly, basically. Notion allows for importation of APIs from Dework, CSV files, and a few other items. So we're also looking to automate some of the things we're doing using Notion. So currently that setup is in progress, and that's the update from the writers workgroup. Thank you.
And thank you as well. Great to see the broader and broader coverage on well, both, for example, LATAM and the African Guild, but also on the languages side of things. All right, that brings us to video workgroup. Anybody in the room wants to take the floor for that?
Yes, I'm here. Alfred representing.
Go for it.
Hello, everyone. I'll be bringing updates from the video workgroup. So first off, for the month of May, we were able to create 9 long videos and 8 short clips. Were posted on our social media handles, Twitter, YouTube, and the rest of them. And secondly, regarding the video updates, video workgroup partnering with writers workgroup to upload some of the content from the video workgroup on this platform. Concerning this, that one had been nominated as a bridge connecting the video workgroup and the writers workgroup. So that way it will aid the uploading of the video workgroup content on the platform. All right. Thirdly, we onboarded a new member on the video workgroup on the previous meetings. That's in the person of Andrew Ben. However, he's proven himself worthy of being a member of the workgroup, so he's officially a member of the workgroup. Okay. Our meetings continue weekly, every Friday by 5 p.m. +1. So feel free to join the video workgroup if you want to know more about the video workgroup. Thank you very much.
And you? I have to say, audio quality was hampering every now and then, but I did get what you were saying. Thanks a ton. That's the Friday covered. That brings us to the Saturday with Gamers Guild. Quickly checking if we have anybody in the room. Slate or Frankie or... Looks like not so much. All right. Then in that case, also looking at the clock, we'll skip ahead. Bringing us to Strategy Guild. Let's see. I can give a quick update there. It pretty much got revived by Billy. And there have been 2 sessions only so far, relatively explorative sessions, let's say. But the intention there is to pretty much like it used to be, to have it be a place which can help out other work groups on the topic of strategy. So if at some point, random example, if let's say onboarding would have some kind of bigger issue which they can't really figure out, that's where strategy could come in and help them out. That's the broad outline without going into much details. Most of the discussion on what the work group is doing now and what they potentially could be doing is on the there's a bit of discussion on the Discord channel for that. That brings us to the governance work group.
Governance I can do. Nice. From governance workgroup, yeah, everything quite fine. I think main achievements this month was, yeah, we did the quarter one, quarter two budget allocations. Got everything through. Thanks a lot for this, everybody helping out. Special shout out onboarding and archival workgroup, doing a lot there. Then right now, as for next steps, actually today we had a really good session and defined already the whole agenda for the next month, where in week one we focus on a retrospective on budgetary issues. So checking how did guilds and workgroup actually managed with the budgets? Are there any issues we can figure out? Week two, we do a retrospective on the governance experiment itself. So how we actually decided on the quarter one, quarter two budget allocations. In week three, ideally, then we start to ideate on changes and, yeah, improvements we want to see for the whole thing. And starting a governance experiment thingy on, well, I'm not sure if it's still so much needed, but on the naming thing, like we have this decision makers. How the fuck do we call them? Right now we call them core contributors, but do we want to keep it or do it something else? However, we see this as a nice opportunity to experiment on governance, and that's what we do. And ideally, in June week four, we start to yeah, get everybody onboarded with some new toolings. We aim to experiment for the quarter three budgets there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing what is actually really cool to see is like when it comes about governance, that governance work group doesn't build any, let's say, authority. So most of the actions are actually not done by governance work group itself. It's really much more a place where the leads from different guilds and work groups come together and figure out their stuff themselves. This is something where we, I think, go into a really good direction. This was always a little concern for many here, right? To say if we have this group, yeah, we don't want to make them decisions. And yeah, that's definitely not happening. Really, really cool. And yeah, we are still horrible on documentation, need to ramp that up. And besides that, thanks a lot, everybody, for helping out and running all your groups.
Thanks a lot. Then let's see, it's the very last one on the list. Not the least one, though. It's the AI ethics work group.
Nice one. Thanks everybody for hanging on for a couple more minutes just while we update you on this. So the AI ethics work group is a new work group for quarter two. So the first thing we should probably say is thank you to the core contributors who approved its budget. Excellent. It's all about exploring the ethical issues that are raised by AI, which I know loads of us are interested in, and about looking kind of how to find out what the general public might think or care about on these important issues. So it's really related strongly to the global AI ethics group that Hayley and Esther have created. And at the moment, that's been meeting on Tuesdays, but it looks like the time might need to change. So kind of keep an eye on the calendar for that. But this is an actual ambassador work group that's related to it and will be meeting separately and is going to be supported by Lilu, who's working on it from the foundation side. So we have got a Discord channel and I'll drop a link to it in the chat in a minute. And the main thing we're trying to do is find out who's interested and who wants to kind of commit to coming to meetings and when. So we've got a when to meet in place, which I'll also post in the chat in a minute. And I'd really ask anybody who's got any interest at all in AI ethics, have a look at that when to meet and stick in dates and times, well, times that you can do. And if none of them suit you, then please post in the Discord to say when would suit you. So I'm going to hand over to Lilu now if she's got anything to add.
Hello, everybody. Hello. All right, I also dropped the main global ethics initiative document in the chat, as well as the ethics workgroup proposal. We also have, let's see, we have a global AI ethics participation Google form that Esther was very, very nice about making for us, and I will drop that in the chat in a second. I think Vanny said everything that needed to really be said. Yeah, finding a new time finding co-chair. Yeah, we'll always have the open office. Like that's always going to be there, but it's good that we do have a separate also one that's just the ambassadors as it was stated. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything, you can reach out to any of us. I think that's all for now.
Amazing. Thanks a lot. And then I think we actually did it. That's the end of the list. That does bring us to potential rather short, looking at the clock, time for any topics we should be touching on. I do want to put a quick check. I also don't want to spend too much time, just, yeah, because we're over the slot already. I do want to respect everybody's time, but just a quick check if there's anything urgent we do need to touch on.
From a previous week, today in Treasury Operations found several new members coming through from ambassador meetings, and we needed to label it, which brought to mind, have you ever recognized any participation in town hall?
Yes.
I have in the past, but not structurally. Well, when
Yeah.
as you
Do we want to do that? Is this still a thing? Because it feels like right now the newest members all come from onboarding workgroup. However, I feel like town hall is the place where like people firstly usually jump into, and then they learn about, okay, this is interesting place, and maybe go to onboarding. Because onboarding workgroup is not essentially about onboarding all the time new people. They have the special sessions, but they are recognizing their participation, and then it also kind of reflects always like, okay, new volatiles because they are kind of doing that onboarding, which we could also do here. That say, hey, you joined here, there is a link. We won't be able to address you this time, but if you click here, create Dework account, you're in, read about it. Because it's a front-facing kind of session. It's not a work group, it's not a guild, but it's a lot of people are coming through here. And we are not recognizing any of them. And in core contributors, they also don't affect.
We had it on the beginning. I remember all the first town halls, but this was in the first year we recognized actually. Just not sure on which Dework space.
And why I'm bringing it up is like, if we still want to do it, maybe we could allocate the bounty. We now have like from Treasury or on process could have both have like this documentation stuff, and we could put like 2 bounties. Also, I see video workgroup is always spending $50 to move to a meeting summary. I wonder if that could include who are the people for the, and I don't know if any of these people are here, because it actually took like less than 5 minutes to recognize all the people. Another thing is we right now have the Zoom participant lists. We could maybe for a quarter through make a proposal to integrate it Zoom and just make a like a button that creates, and then we're gonna have a new registry of like Zoom names and associated Discord names for all of that. But at least it would take away of these issues that we have right now.
Steve, I just threw a link in the live chat, and that massively agree actually there, because this is actually beautiful. We can go back to some very first town halls, which we captured on Dework, and can see, oh, when did people actually started to engage there? And this, who wonders? Most of the people there are now leaders of guilds and work groups here. And we had it as a bounty actually. And so we documented quite a bunch of them, but then stopped, because I was doing this back then. And takes quite some time after all to do anyway. But I think definitely worth to bring this back here.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit tricky. I don't mind making bounties for it, naturally. Just makes me wonder on the there's a bit of a there's also a summary task for the I always make this YouTube short summary. Never mind. Yes, let's say yes. I'm done. I think looking at the task, this is using a template, right? So we can just make
Yeah, I think also a new template should be made. I looked at the one and then I created a copy and I just deleted most stuff. Because we have, but this is easy. I created like 3 new templates for meetings because we just have updated so many onboarding material. You can copy and paste over it. But yeah, like the only thing we need to discuss is like when people don't have an Dework account, because we don't want to spend the town hall time to click this, do this, do that, but have like hey, here is a link, do it asynchronously. If you figure it out, then you will get into the list by the next week. If you don't, there's a Discord channel.
Like what we figured out is that the most effective way is if you have a person who knows that, okay, this is this Discord channel. So you do it, you have one person assigned to it. And with this, you don't have to overwhelm too much. You simply say, hey, sign up to Dework. And then you know then you can add the Discords there. So having one person assigned to it was actually more effective in this regard because you could capture more folks. But yeah, you need to say something constant.
Yeah, makes me wonder. In theory, could even be done retroactively. That's a separate thing, but
issue sometimes is you need to be really all the time in the community to do so because you have the Zoom signups which are registered on one side. I create sometimes other names. Then you have the Discord handles, and sometimes the Dework names differ from the Discord handles. So sometimes it's a little tricky to figure out who is who actually, especially for newcomers. Their bounty makes more sense.
all right. So thinking what the best way of following up on this is. There's a bunch of calls tomorrow. Holy shit. It's a full one. Maybe just discuss it on Discord first. Like we need basically we just need a new template, right? And we need somebody to do it.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah. And do we want to recognize the history? I don't know how much far history we can go, but I think we have somewhere until Town Hall 49, the template changed. Then only dates are used. Then we had 1 month of 2 months and 3 months. So crazy. We had 3 months of recognition, and then at this, I don't know, September. What is month after September? We finished, and then basically we haven't recorded at all, except when a custom moderator. If moderator was somebody else than Peter, it was recognized. Just a fun fact.
Yep. I don't know. In a way, I'm inclined to, like, if we have the data, might as well. Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of puzzling.
Try to figure out what we do, and this may yeah, prompt us to request Zoom. Somebody have like a form or something where we register Zoom with Discord meet so that we know which wallet addresses and mint tokens.
On Zoom, there's actually a tricky thing because if you have calls which are rescheduled, so not single events, and you have a person multiple times signing up, you just see them once. You can't see how often they joined the session. So this would take quite some manual work. It's not easy to get through that. That's shitty, actually. Or simply let's say, fuck off. We did some early experiments. We learned some stuff. Now let's try to start the second one. Maybe we don't have to go too much retroactively. Simply looking, how can we improve the first one already? And taking it from there. Maybe a little bit overwhelming. A little less overwhelming.
I'm just thinking something. It's not a good piece of data in a way, but I didn't do it today. But usually when I open the call, I call out all the participants. That's something. Like you get rewarded for being there at the very start, at least. But yeah, it's not a good sample in that sense, because yeah, regularly people join just a couple minutes late to still be there for like 90% of the meeting. But I could also see just a going forward approach. Let's have a little bit. I mean, it's in the past already, right? So that portion we can. There's no urgency. Just for upcoming tunnels, we need to have a proper.
Let's focus on first new setup, and let's wait until we have really cool and real powerful AI tools, which we can dump with all the shit and say could make sense out of this. Tell me everything.
That might take a little while.
We have time.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I do think it's time to get somewhat to wrapping up, but I also see Vanessa calling out in chat something that definitely needs to be mentioned during this meeting is Waka's effort of collecting all the deep funding proposals related to people involved with the ambassador program. There's a link in chat. I think there's, let me quickly check the channel. I think it's Ambassador General, right? Yes. So it's also in the Ambassador General Discord channel. You can find it there. Yeah, it's I don't know. In a way, I saw at some point, Walter, I believe I saw you saying like, "Oh, that's not too many," but I was pretty proud to see that list. It was an amazing list of proposals.
Right, and we're discovering. Just had another person add like 5 of their proposals, so now we're into 12.5 or something like that. So yeah, no, I think it's very important and going forward now that the deep funding is up to 210 proposals submitted, it just becomes impractical to expect somebody to look at all of them. This way I actually get to see the proposals from people I know and can relate to. For some reason, the effort started within the education group just because it's like large and boisterous. But if you're aware of anybody who should be included, please just give them a hint. So currently it's open for commenting by everyone, but for write access, for edit access, shoot me a Gmail address and you'll gain, full edit access.
Awesome, man! Thanks a ton for compiling. All right. Quick final check. Anybody, any points to add to this to the session today? And if not, looks like not. I'd like to thank you all for spending time here and being being here. That's really appreciated. That's amazing. Yeah, hope to see you in one of the many upcoming. I'm not even. I was gonna count them. I think we've got a ton more this week, so you won't have to be bored. If not on one of the calls, hope to see you on Discord. A raised hand. Yes, Walter, in the nick of time.
I just wanted to follow up on Tivo's note about the attendance roles. I am interested in that data for not personal, not about anybody individually, but just to run some regressions on our participation patterns. So if you do manage to extract, please share.
Can I also drop again one last thing? For everybody who has time on Friday at, 1600 UTC, I drop a Zoom link here. This is for, we do a call with MintSwap and what they did with AI and governance on Catalyst and Cardano. On what they did so far and ideating a little bit on where we see this going. This is a continuation from a series of conversations which we started with Workgroup Research Labs some months ago on AI and blockchain governance. And yeah, if you have time, drop by. Everybody very welcome.
All right. And that wraps it. So yeah, thanks again, and see you on the next one. Oh, actually, the next one is 100. Be there.